You played with the Patriots. Do you have a favorite Belichick or Brady story that you're allowed to
Oh my
tell?
goodness. Yeah, yeah. Well, plenty of them.
You can't get
One of
in trouble now. So,
yeah, that's right. Yeah, they're both retired, or I guess Bill's on a vacation,
yeah.
but Tom's retired. Um, One of my favorite memories, and I just recently told this story for the first time publicly. It wasn't a good memory at the time, but it turned into a great story. Was Bill? He puts the fear of God into you when you're a rookie. You know, any mistake you feel like could be the mistake that gets you shoved right out the door. And I was a fourth round draft pick in 2009. And I woke up one morning, not to the sound of my alarm, but to the sound of like birds chirping and the warm New England sun on my face. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm late. I'm late. I can't believe it. And so there's a squad meeting happening in 10 minutes, and I'm 15 minutes away. So I throw on a pair of sweats. I sprint down to my garage. I hop in the car, and I am just flying through this neighborhood trying to get to work. Well, so anyways, I'm rounding a bend, and I'm looking at the car and at the clock on the dashboard. And I'm not a math guy, Dan, but I'm doing some quick mental. I'm not getting there in time. So I see a church van at the red light in front of me. And I go, I'm going to hit this van. I need an excuse to be late to work today. So I like at maybe 10 miles per hour, I'm creeping into it, but I bump bumpers with this church van in front of me. And he pulls, he's making a right-hand turn. So he pulls over to the right. I pull over behind him and I'm like, completely sweaty and just hyper. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I called up the team assistant Bears. I was like, hey, Bears Nigerian. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but he worked with Bill for all those years. And I say, hey, Bears, I'm not going to make it in on time. I got into an accident and blah, 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 and this and that. And he goes, hey, take your time. We get it. Just when you get in here, check in with me. I'm like, okay, okay. I hang up the phone with him. Out from the front seat of the car of the church van I hit was this white bearded man who worked for a church. He looked like Father Time. This guy was 100 years old. And he's slowly making his way to my driver's side door. And I roll down the window. I'm like, no, 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 stay where you are, sir. I'll come out. As I'm saying a torrential downpour on this poor old man who I just intentionally rear-ended to have an excuse not to be late to the building. So I hop out of the car. We exchange information. I give him every single dollar in my pocket. I think I had, it was like a handful of cash. I think I gave him my social security number. I'm like, whatever you need, sir, you call me. We'll sort it out. I'm late for work. If you don't mind, I'm going to get out of here. Is that cool? And he was like, it's okay, young fella. Just take your time wherever you're going and God bless you. And I'm like, I am going to hell. So, so I drive to the building and my offensive line coach meets me in the hallway and he dressed me down like I've never been spoken to before in my life. I mean, it was a mother effer this and a I can't believe you. If you worked at IBM and instead of being this spoiled football player, you'd be thrown out on your head with a fern and a laptop, USOB, this and that. Dante Scarnecchia, a scary dude when he was angry. So he goes, now get in the offensive line meeting room and you wait for me. So I go in there. The whole team arrives. We're going through a normal day of meetings. He doesn't really address it other than to say that I let down the whole team, the whole group. And he was right. Accountability is an important thing. Later in the day, I'm walking past Bill in one of these long corridors in the Patriots hallways. And I mean, you can't avoid him. There's no doors to duck into. I couldn't pretend I was reading something. I mean, we're coming at each other. And he's making direct eye contact with me. And Dan, that is, I mean, you can feel that in your loins. I mean, it's scary stuff. So he stops in the hallway and he goes, hey. I'm like, hey. He goes, you all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. We're about to go out to practice. He goes, okay, good. He goes, you were late today. I go, yeah, I'm so sorry. I had a car accident. He's like, yeah, I know. I saw it. And I was like, you saw it? And he goes, and he just shakes his head. And I say, okay, I apologize. It'll never happen again. This and that. And he doesn't say a word. He just goes, Okay. And he just walks past me. And somehow I got out of it, continued my career with them, but that was one of those first moments where I was like, oh, this is different from anything I've done before. Like there's no getting away with anything. You have to be accountable every day. And so it's a fun story to tell, but I thought I was going to be back in Nassau County on Long Island cutting deli meats again. I thought my career was over, but I digress.
Well, you are going to hell.
I am going to hell. I'm for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that was inexcusable, Dan.
Yeah, absolutely.